Yeah. Welcome back. This is episode 10 of the Radical Soul podcast, guys. It's crazy, bro. This is our 10th.
Episode
But
10.
I'm Daniel.
I'm Chris.
I'm Ethan. Make sure to hit that like, subscribe, and comment with that notification bell.
Yes,
Today's
sir.
a special topic. Just want to let everybody know we support Black Lives Matter and we support Jacob Blake in the incident that just happened.
Yeah, and this episode is pretty much going to cover all of that and the effects it has had on this country and sports. So if you don't like it, you can easily get the fuck off this episode and come back next week and try again.
Yeah, we're definitely going to be hitting on that. There's not going to be a whole lot of sports reporting this episode. Going to be a lot of we're going to be talking about Jacob Blake. Definitely, we're going to be talking a little politics, talking what's going on in the sport wise in general. So, like Daniel said, if this ain't for you, come back next week.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But guys, we're gonna try to cover, what happened with the NBA boycott and what has happened since that first boycott, because we were all like, that's really happening. I remember Chris called us and he was trying to stay updated because it was insane. Gonna be covering some of the MLB games because some people have boycotted, some people haven't, and you know how me and Chris feel about MLB when it comes to the decisions they make. Definitely gonna be talking some NFL news because the Bears had a former player start bugging the hell out, and some people really didn't agree with him, and neither did we. And we're gonna be talking about some MLS news, Major League Soccer, because even in the soccer world, we are seeing that some people still don't get it. And then we're gonna close this episode off by trying to talk a little more politics and why it's really important that we really try to go out here and vote.
What's
Yeah.
that?
So let's get it, guys.
Let's get
Get
it.
it.
Yo, so the NBA, bro, that day was crazy. I remember we started talking in the chat like, yo, the Bucks might boycott, and Chris was not even home. He's like, wait, what? FaceTimed us, and I was like, bro, this game's canceled.
Yeah, that was definitely crazy. I didn't see any of that coming. I mean, obviously, you thought something would have happened because of all this going on, but I didn't think it was going to be every single game was going to be, boycotted. I definitely didn't think it was going to get that way. But, I mean, it shows the level of, how can you say, the level of, consciousness that the players have, the level that the league has. Because if there were any other league, bro, that really didn't give a damn, the teams that would have boycotted, they would have took an L, like things like that, like grimy things like that. But you can see that the NBA is definitely on board with what the players got to say. That's just at least how I'm seeing it.
Word. I mean, Ethan, you're the one that kind of came first,
Yeah.
the whole thing. What was going through your head at that moment?
Well, I love how they didn't just announce it. They just like, yo, we're not playing, and that's it. Like that's how we feel. That's how the players feel. They didn't feel up to go on the court and play. It was like, no, we're standing in the back, and that's it. That's it. Which I
Word, I
love.
mean, for the people that don't know, pretty much what happened was the Bucks, the Milwaukee Bucks, which are from Wisconsin, were playing the Orlando Magic, and the Orlando Magic were out practicing until like the 3-minute mark before the game, and they got advised like, yo, the Bucks aren't coming out of the locker room. So they all went back to the locker room, and they just decided we boycotting this game. And the Bucks ended up staying in the locker room for the next, 2-3 hours, and they talked to the Attorney General, Lieutenant Governor, was it?
I
Yeah,
forgot.
they talked to the Attorney
Yeah.
General on the phone and Lieutenant Governor on the phone and try to, do their part because it happened in their backyard.
Agreed.
Yeah, word.
So, I mean, it's been rather interesting. The NBA had to come together and talk about what was the next move. Some people wanted to keep playing. Kawhi Leonard and LeBron kind of led the Clippers and said, yo, we in Lakers and said, we not doing this.
Yeah, and it was cool to see like more. I wouldn't say veteran players, but George Hill definitely is a veteran player to be like the first ones to step up and be like, we're not going to play. That's it, and just give out an official statement. They were the first ones, I believe, right?
Yeah.
To come out and say stuff. Yeah, that was really good, man. That was cool to see that, that the vets still play a role in, different things. Because this is obviously a once in a NBA kind of thing. Like this hasn't happened before in the NBA This
Yeah, the
hasn't
most
been
that's
an NL.
happened is people protesting by themselves, exhibition games, but a playoff game.
Yeah, like a whole playoff game, like, and for it to be the whole NBA, like it's good to see that the vets are on board. They're not, how can you say, like just ponying off of the NBA and whatever the NBA says is what goes. Like it's good to see that, they're all kind of joining together.
Facts. And I mean, I thought about this yesterday because I was rocking my threes, and I was watching the jump on ESPN, and I was like, yo, isn't it funny how like sports have adapted now? Where when Jordan was playing and all these things were going on, people are like, yo, why aren't you talking? You need to talk more. You're the face of the league. Blah blah blah. But now that LeBron is kind of taking that step up of I'm gonna talk. I'm not gonna just play and let these people tell me that, oh, you an athlete, shut up and dribble. Like I don't
Yeah.
know. Like I don't know how you guys feel about that because I'm like it's crazy because now that LeBron is actually saying things, people are telling him, "Yo, shut up and dribble. You're just an athlete. No one cares. You're gonna pay millions." But when Jordan wasn't talking, people were bashing him and ripping him like crazy.
Yeah. I don't know. I'll let Ethan start off. How do you feel about
It's,
that, Ethan?
I felt like it was like a different time. I want to say compared to like back then to now. I guess. Um, but the whole thing on LeBron shut up and dribble is not fair. Like he has a voice, and he wants to be told. He wants to support as much as he can, and that's how it should be. Jordan, I don't know much to say about Jordan. Like he just didn't talk upon those what was happening before.
Yeah. No, definitely. Just to kind of piggyback off of that, it's definitely a shift in culture. Like kind of in that Jordan era, if you guys like this is gonna be real weird, but if you guys ever look at the penny, did you guys know what it said before it said in God we trust?
Nah,
It said mind your business. Literally, if you look it up, it says mind your business. And that's the culture. That's the era before us. Like in the era before them, like Jordan's parents, like his grandparents, it's always a mind your business culture. Like, if it doesn't affect you, like you shouldn't be talking about it. Versus, that could be a good and bad thing. Like it could be a good thing in a perspective to where you shouldn't put your opinion out there all the time, but it could be a bad thing for things like this where your voice needs to be heard. And you as in the platform need to, you need to use your platform. You're the number one player in the league right now. You should be talking. So it's just a different culture per se. It's good that it's shifting towards that way, that big names like LeBron are talking. But it's definitely a different generation, a different upbringing. So it's gonna be good to see the players going forward on how this intertwines with lifestyles and politics and different things are wrapping into sports. Like it's no longer you're just a basketball player and you dunk a ball. Like you are a part of a society. You're part of a culture. So
word.
it's good to see that.
And talking about shifts, I guess we can take the opportunity of talking about the WNBA as well, because they have been doing this for a while, and as women, it's a lot harder, especially colored women, and they really did the thing, man. They wore the shorts, the shorts. They wore the shirts that said, they spelled out Blake and Jacob, and they had the 7 bullet holes on the back of those shirts, and I was just like, yo, that is like a moving shirt, like that's really just crazy to look at, and that's
Yeah,
really what it was right there.
definitely, man. It
So
was it was it was crazy to see. Honestly, like I saw at the beginning of yesterday, I saw them spell out Jacob Blake, but I didn't see the 7 bullet holes in the back. And I saw that this morning, and that kind of like, when it brings it home and you just really don't have anything to say. That's
yeah,
just kind of how I felt. Like it was just like, wow, like that man really got shot 7 times in the back. Like just think about that. Like you're not even looking at somebody, and you just I don't know. It brought it home, and it definitely those shirts definitely hit home. It definitely got their point across.
Completely agree.
yeah. And I mean, bro, the thing with me is like I get it. The guy has a felony charge, and he had a knife. There's different theories out there, and at the end of the day, we're not gonna know what really
Yeah,
transpired. But at the end of the day, 7 shots is OD.
yeah, it is.
Exactly.
Like
It is.
one is already bad enough, but 7, like
Yeah,
that is a lot. So it's one of those things where a lot of people are gonna have different opinions and stuff, but it's just people got to start to really open their eyes and just see like, yo, this is not right because it's off. It's something that shouldn't be going on.
No, not at
Exactly.
all. And honestly,
Yeah.
like we're not to mean to interrupt you, even my bad.
I know you
We're not gonna see the ultimate effects of what pans out, I feel. I really hope this doesn't become one of those things to where like we don't get the full story because I really want to know the full story because obviously like Dan said the guy had a felony charge, he had a knife. Like I would love to see what the reasoning was on the cop side for him to shoot him. Like I would love to know what goes through his mind as a cop. Like yeah, I got to shoot this guy. Like just to get
agree.
a better perspective going forward. Like even as us as colored men, like what do we have to do to when we get stopped not put ourselves in that predicament, like, or what can we do going forward to have a voice and say, hey, you know, we should do this, we should do that, versus like the current culture that we're in where this is cool for, you know, a day or two, this is cool for a week, and then all of a sudden something else happens and we can give to, you know, we can give a damn about what happened last week. Like, which I don't think is right. I think like, you know, Breonna Taylor, I think obviously I like that is still in the news. Like they're still pushing that. Like, I feel like it should be that for every instance that happens. It shouldn't just be a 1 week thing and we go on to the next and then something else happens. So that's just my opinion. That's how I see it. So.
I agree. I think going upon that, the 6 months with Breonna Taylor, I think it was 156 days now,
Yeah.
and they should continue to push that on. But going what I was about to say before with the knife, the kid holding the 17-year-old Kyle walking around with a AR-15 that killed 2 people was chilling. Like no nothing, no gun to him, no police attacking him, nothing.
Yo,
Yeah.
honestly
And
though, my fault. You just keep going and then
no,
I'll
no,
pick.
no, you're good.
But I
You're
was
good.
gonna say, you know, like not only that, but the one that really like hits me hard whenever I hear these type of things is the one that happened in South Carolina at the church, where the
Oh
kid killed
yeah.
like 9 people, and you know they arrest him peacefully. They put him in the car and they took him to either McDonald's or Burger. I don't remember the exact one, but they
I
took him
think
to
it
a
was
fast food
Burger
restaurant and said, "Oh
King.
yeah, you want some food? Like here." So it's
Yeah.
like, why is it the dude with a sexual assault charge and a knife is more dangerous than a guy that just shot up a church? Like what? Where's the justification of that? Like I've never like that really ticks me off. And then the whole thing with Kyle, like you were saying, like that's insanity, bro. Like you got a 17-year-old with an illegal gun, a gun,
At
not a
that.
knife, an illegal gun, walking around talking about, oh yeah, I'm gonna protect. And he wasn't even from Wisconsin. He was from Illinois.
Bro, I was just gonna say this kid. Like, if you see a picture of this kid, for the kids that don't, for the people that don't know, just to give like a backstory, because it's just breaking out. I want to say this morning, correct?
It
Yeah,
was a
This
little bit of
kid,
yesterday
like
afternoon.
last night, yeah, last night, yeah, this morning. This kid, his name is what's his name? Kyle something, Rithart or some shit like that.
Yeah,
He was walking around with an AR, a big assault rifle. It had to be the size of his upper body to like down to his knees. Was just walking around, a 17-year-old at that. So he shouldn't have had that gun in the beginning. You know, it's the first place. Walks right by the cops. You know, they tell him to back away, but they don't arrest him or anything for just walking around with a gun. And he ends up shooting 2 people, killing 2 people there on the instance. Which, I mean, if this kid that doesn't even have chin hairs can walk around with an AR-15 right in front of a cop and nothing happens, I think we are just on a whole different other planet, son. We're just, there's no excuse for that. There's no way that could be justified. First of all, the
exactly.
kid shouldn't even had a gun. That's number one. He's 17 years old. There's no way he can have a gun. That's number one. Number two, it's in the middle of a protest. You're telling me an already chaotic scene, you see a guy with an AR-15, you're not going to stop him? You're not going to fucking just be like, yo, like, why the fuck do you have an AR-15? You're not a cop. You're not fucking Superman. You need to stop. Like, you are nobody. And
Exactly.
I don't see the logic of how anybody can justify this. This is ruthless. Like, it's tragic for the people that lost their lives. Like, it's just, it's
It's
mind
hard.
boggling.
Yeah, it's hard to even talk about because it's unreal.
And
Like,
if you look at the picture, it's not just him. It's him and another guy that had an AR-15. I
there
think
was
the
a
other,
few people. There's a video
yeah,
of the cops giving these people water, their own supply of water, talking about, oh yeah, we thank you for the support. And there's a
bro.
bunch of people carrying ARs.
And honestly, like I'm not a person to like say you shouldn't have your guns because obviously we live in America. Like, you know, if you have the right to carry your gun, you know, respectfully and with your license and in your house, you do whatever the hell you want. But this isn't right. You shouldn't be walking around in the middle of a protest. You know, you're not the cops. You're not trained for any of this stuff. You're not riot, you know, police. You're nobody. Go home. Like, if you want to protest, you protest, but don't bring out guns. Like, at that
Yeah,
rate, you're just escalating the situation. I mean, I saw even a guy with a bulletproof vest. Like, it, it's despicable. I don't know.
the fact that he went out his way to drive all the way down there just to do that is unbelievable to me.
Bro,
It's
it's
not
just sick.
even near him.
Sick, bro.
Yeah,
Unnecessary.
very. But I mean, just to kind of keep going too. I don't know if you guys heard about the MLS soccer team out of Salt Lake City in Utah.
Yeah, you was
Uh,
telling us about it, but you know, since you brought it up, we'll let you talk a little bit about the opening discussion about this.
so the MLS team, the Real Salt Lake City, Utah, the owner went on to a radio show and pretty much, how can you say, he described the protest being like a stab in the heart and not knowing how to pull the knife out and moving forward. And he said he took personal disrespect to you know, the protests that were going on because supposedly to his view was that the pandemic was starting to trickle off and going in the right direction, and now that these protests are coming up, these people are taking away from the sports. So he's pretty much just looking at it from his view. MLS completely, you know, tried to distract them. How can you say, like, took themselves away from what his statement was, but he's still, at the end of the day, he's still the owner of the MLS team. I mean, what he said was completely wrong. I mean, they said that they strongly disagree with him. And I mean, as an owner, like having, because he has to have, I know nothing about MLS. I don't know shit about soccer, but I'm sure he has some colored people on his team.
Without a doubt, bro.
Like, without a doubt, I'm sure he got some colored people
Definitely.
on his team. Like, he has to have more fucking common sense to be saying stupid shit like, you know, this is like a knife in the heart or a knife, you know, how I can pull it out. Like, no. Somebody protesting has nothing to do with your fucking soccer team, bud.
In a
Like,
sense, though, I'm happy he fucked up that bad because that kind of shows everybody, like, yo, who are the owners, and this is why the NBA did this.
yeah, no,
Because these
definitely.
people have connections, they have the money, they know their people. Some of these people even fund some of the things that are going on in these different states. So
Yeah.
him saying that really opens the eyes of people to say, like, this is what's going on, this is what's wrong.
But honestly, that's why, like, just my perspective, I really appreciate the First Amendment because people can say whatever the hell they want, and at the end of the day, they look stupid regardless. Because look at this kid. Now you know that this guy is, you know, he sees things in a different way. He's probably a racist. Like, now you know. Now you know when you go, if you ever upon yourself and you see yourself going to a Salt Lake City soccer game, you're not gonna go because this guy's a racist. So like it's a good and bad thing because the people get seen for what the hell they are when they say stupid shit like that. Like look at Brian Urlacher. To not
Oh,
to
man.
not to go on to a different thing, but I'm pretty sure you can explain what happened with Brian Urlacher yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if you want to go on to this topic, because MLS, that's really, they cancel a lot of the games, and I just want to talk about
Yeah,
this because football doesn't really have anything going on besides canceling practices, and some
yeah.
of the
Well,
players from the Saints put the Jacob Blake on their helmets and stuff. So we'll talk about Brian Urlacher definitely because that's another example of what's really wrong in this fucking country.
yeah. So,
Um, Chris, you wanna direct quote it?
yeah, I have it right in front of me.
Yeah.
So Brian Urlacher said word for word, Brett Favre played the Monday night game after the day after his dad died, threw 4 touchdowns and a half, and was a legend for playing the day that he faced adversity. He said NBA players are boycotting the playoffs because some dude was reaching for a knife and or was wanted for a felony sex assault. Was on a what? Wanted for a felony assault warrant. So was shot by police. So he's pretty much trying to downplay what happened to Jacob Blake. And he's pretty much trying to compare this man getting shot and, you know, being in whatever state he's currently in right now. Last thing I called that he was paralyzed. Comparing that to Brett Favre playing football the day his dad died. I
Talking down
don't.
about basketball, like how you talk down upon them boycotting, like that's messed up.
Yeah, and right after he said that, the Bears, because he's like the number one Bears guy. Like anything you see Bears, you see Brian Urlacher. But like the Bears immediately, disclaimed themselves from him and put out an official statement saying that they didn't agree with anything that he said, blah blah blah. But like I don't think he's like it's another one of those things where like they just don't see the connect. They don't see how can you say, like the situation for what it is versus trying to compare it to other situations. Like it's its own thing. Like it's a problem. Systemic racism is a problem in itself. You can't compare it to Brett Favre's dad dying. Like it's two different playing fields, two different problems. Like I don't know. You can't.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny though because I'm wearing this jersey, right? Kaepernick's 49ers jersey, and the day that the NBA boycotted was the first time he actually sat for the anthem, August 26, 2016. And we are now in 2020, and to this day, we are still having to do what they're doing to try to get people to be aware of what's going on. And my dad, like, we're talking about, like, I really wonder how Kaepernick feels right now because everybody was just like, yo, I don't know, homie, you on your own there. Like, I ain't doing none of that. I ain't trying to lose my job. But now you got everybody boycotting, and now they're rescheduling games, which I actually got an update that NBA playoffs are back Saturday. And that just shows, like, the league didn't do nothing to the NBA players. So if everybody would have been with Kaepernick when this all first started, he was trying to push this, what could have happened and what difference 4 years could have been making now?
No, most definitely.
So, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with the NFL season now, especially after the NBA, because I've heard that some players are talking about maybe skipping out on that first game and boycotting the first game.
Yeah, and it's I don't know if you have anything to say about that, Ethan. I don't know. Before I go.
I don't know. You
because I was going to say, this is even reaching out to the MLB. I don't know if you guys saw the Mets game where they all kind of took the field. They acted like everything was normal. And then all of a sudden,
they 42 seconds of silence to honor Jackie Robinson the day before Jackie Robinson Day.
Yep. And then they just walk right off the field.
Put a Black Lives Matter shirt right on top of home plate and just all left.
Yeah. So it's good to see that, it's definitely reaching out to just football. It's not just football. It's not just basketball. It's all sports all around, the nation. Now,
we could have one of our regular podcast moments here, and we could talk about why MLB is fucking up yet again. Because not every team was boycotting these games. They even played doubleheaders yesterday just to reschedule the game that some of the people sat out on Wednesday.
Yeah, I did see that.
The Jets general manager, Bobby Van Wagenen, even got caught on the hot mic talking crap about Rob Manfred. Like, this dude just finds ways of just really making me not want to watch baseball anymore.
Yeah. And that's that we watch baseball on the regular.
Yes, it's like, bro, like you guys in MLB, like, some of your best players are African Americans. You got Mookie Betts. You got Aaron Judge, who's mixed.
Bro,
you have John Collins.
Don't even gotta be African American. Look at half the Dominicans that are out there, bro.
Bro, and that's another thing that I want to talk about, bro. Like, Hispanics really.
All the Spanish people out there, we all root from African roots. Like, we're all people of color, bro. Like, the way, African Americans feel right now, who knows, it could have happened to us. Like, it's all like, it's people of color. That's it. Like, you have a bunch of people of color in your league. Why are you not responding to this like the way you should? It comes down just to that.
Yeah, then you look around the other leagues, and it's like everybody's teaming up together and stuff. And the Dodgers, thankfully, took that day off because Mookie Betts was like, yo, I'm not playing this. And Clayton Kershaw stood up immediately and said, yeah, we're with you, bro. Like, this is how it is. And, I just feel like MLB, they, yet again, just found a way to fuck this up.
Yeah. And I did. No, go ahead.
They're just not like like as a whole organization, I feel like they're just not one together. As like NBA and NFL, I feel like they're just two like separate with each other. They all should have
Yeah.
just canceled the day and then rescheduled.
Yeah, because you're rescheduling for COVID games without a problem, but you won't reschedule because they should have just sent out a league message like, "Yo, guys, we're all gonna protest together. We're not playing today, and that's how it's gonna be." But like, they never did that. I'm curious to see what happens because today is Jackie Robinson Day in MLB. It's usually in April. They rescheduled it to give it a day in the year, and I'm really curious to see what's gonna happen now because if MLB does not do something spectacular today and really try to push Jackie Robinson because Jackie Robinson is basically the equivalent for baseball of mixing the league because there was the leagues back then. They wasn't doing none
He's
of
the
that.
first
And I
one.
don't know if you guys seen the movie for Jackie Robinson. That movie, bro, I came out crying when I was a kid. Like I felt bad. It's like, damn, like this is really even still goes on now. Like it's insane. And they really, if they don't find, like I said, if they don't find a way to amaze me today, I might have to stop watching baseball for a while.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I just got an alert on my phone, completely off topic, but the NHL decided to postpone all Thursday and Friday games for the playoffs, which is about time. Yesterday, nothing happened. After all the NBA stuff, MLB stuff happened, nothing happened in NHL.
Yeah,
We thought it was just going to be a dub and they were just going to continue to play, but they said Thursday and Friday that they're going to play. And the official statement says Black and brown communities continue to face real pain and experience. The NHL and the NHLPA recognizes how much work it remains to be done. And we could play appropriate role in discussing the centralized on diversity, inclusion, and social justice. We understand the tragedies involving Jacob Blake, George Floyd, and Breonna Taylor, and other required us to recognize this moment. That's their official statement that just came out less than 2 minutes ago.
now I think with NHL, good job. The other half of it is y'all some phonies because y'all just doing this because you guys are getting ripped the last 3 days. 2 days now? Yeah, they
Last
got
2
ripped the
days,
last
yep.
2 days, and now they're like, oh well, we're gonna cancel these games now. Like, nah, too late for that. It's a little late.
Yeah. So,
Yeah,
and
Well,
I
nothing
mean,
that-
I don't know. Say something, Ethan, because if I say something,
I mean, it's still low key better than MLB. It's sad to say because they could still be playing today,
I was,
and at least the hockey is like, nah, at least we're not playing next 2 days out of respect. But MLB as a whole is still like, yo, let's continue playing. Like what?
yeah.
So,
And the NHL, if you look at the demographic for NHL, you know exactly what it is. And their
yes,
headquarters are in Canada, like
pretty much to give people a perspective here, not to be sounding crazy. It's pretty much a needle in a haystack. Like
yeah.
there's very few African Americans in hockey, and they were outraged
Yeah.
when NHL wasn't really doing much, and they still have been outraged the last few years. So
So
hey, at least they're doing something.
yeah, it's good to see at least they're doing something. I mean, you can't I don't know, at least they're holding themselves accountable. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
So let's see what else we got left here.
I mean, yo, I want to bring this up too. Do you guys think that So let me give some context. I was watching The Jump, and it's basically the NBA show on ESPN. It's got Matt Barnes and Richard Jefferson, and Matt Barnes said they should boycott the Olympics. How do you guys feel about that?
Because you want to go first?
I'll let you go first.
I say they should because that's one of the major global sports around the whole world. So you stop the Olympics, then there's a cause like a major change, which I would respect a lot because a lot of people wait to watch Olympics. So I thought they should.
Yeah. I feel like I don't know. I'm on the edge here. Like I feel like they should, for obvious reasons, but I feel like they shouldn't for obvious reasons. Like I feel like they should go out there and show like their faces of African American and be like, look, we are the people that represent America. Like we're not just a bunch of white people. Like for lack of better words, like there is diversity in the United States, and this is who we are. Like look at our Olympic team. I'm pretty sure if you look at the Olympic team, 90% of those people are African American that play basketball. Like, look at the league. Like, like, I feel like they should go out there and show their faces and show the world that, like, look, no matter what anybody says, like, we are who we are. Like, we represent the United States. Like, no matter what policies are in place, no matter what, the outside looking in is, the inside looking out is that we are who we are. Like, we'll go out there, and no matter what, is going on in our nation, we'll like we can represent our nation knowing that we have each other's back as a diversity. But obviously there's still problems, but I feel like they should still have like the same agenda going in, just like they did to the bubble with the Black Lives Matter. You should see them, if they end up going to the Olympics, you should see them with, all the Black Lives Matter stuff on. You should see them in their interviews talking about it and their nation. Like, I feel like that's a good platform to make it global versus just making it a United States problem.
Word. Because, I thought about it, and it makes me think about what Doc Rivers said a few nights ago when, the Jacob Blake stuff was first breaking and it was getting really, really big. And Doc Rivers basically said, like, yo, we love a country that doesn't love us. Yeah. So I was telling my dad, if I was, the Olympic team for basketball, I would find a way to really push it, like you were saying, Chris. Like, it's one of those things where, like, I kind of get why you would boycott. It's like, yo, why I do this for you guys if y'all haven't been doing shit for us for years? Yeah. But then the other half of it, like you were saying, is this is the perfect platform because it's become a global thing, and they can try to push it and really find a way to push it. Because if they could do it with the bubble, they probably could pull it off with the Olympics too.
Yeah, like, look, imagine if they would have boycotted basketball. If like an event like this would have happened 3 months ago, and they said, you know what, we're not playing basketball. You think the MLB, you think the NFL, you think the NHL would have gave a shit?
Of course not.
Of course not. Like, no. Like, and like a lot of people see it to where like they can microscope it to where like it's the NBA. Like, that's the NBA. Like, that's who plays. That's who it is. Like, look at LeBron James. He's the face of the NBA. Whatever he says goes. No. Like, now that they're playing and now that it's a thing, it's good to see that it branches out. And I feel like it could do the same thing on the Olympic level. If you see LeBron James talking about, what's going on in America, it'll open a lot of eyes globally. Because I'm sure America's not the only place where there's racism. I'm sure you go to UK, there's racism. I'm sure you go to anywhere in Europe, there's racism. You go to Asia, I'm pretty sure if my ass gets off a plane in China right now, I'm going to have 20,000 Chinamen looking at me upside down. Like, it's global. So I feel like if they take it to that scale, like, it'll be a completely different thing and it'll open a lot of eyes. And honestly, that would excite me.
Word. But we got 6 minutes left and it's clocking down. So, we thought this would be a perfect opportunity to finally make this chat a little more political, since we like to kind of shed away from that because this is a sneaker thing for us and a sport thing. But hey, we're not going to shut up and dribble or shut up and sell our sneakers and wear our shoes and shit. So, Chris, you want to open this up since you're the one that kind of brought it up?
So I brought it up because if y'all don't know by, like, the way I talk and stuff and the way I view things, I am a Republican, and it's the party that I identify with, but it doesn't make me as a person. I'm not a Trump supporter. I'm not how can you say, I don't go that way.
Yeah, like, you're not going to just vote for Trump because you're a Republican. You're not going to vote for Bush just because
it's just the way my family grew up. It's just the way I grew up. But it's just a point to say that you should go out there and vote. Just because you align yourself with a certain party, just because you align yourself with, this opponent, you should look at what their policies are for your people and vote accordingly. I brought it up because I always get slack because I'm a Republican, and I proudly say I'm a Republican. I don't want to say I proudly say, because obviously there's a lot of fucked up shit in the Republican Party right now. It makes me not even want to look at politics. But the reason I'm a Republican is because of the free market. Like, I enjoy, being able to, do business in a free market, have lower taxes, being able to, do commerce in a different way. That's how I see a Republican. I don't agree with anything Republican, like gun rights. I don't agree on, like, military spending, all that stuff I don't agree with. Abortion, I don't agree with. All the other stuff that has to do on an interpersonal level when it comes to Republican, I don't agree with that, and I want to put that out there before I get fucking ripped in the comments. I just agree with literally the financial policy, and that's it. If those that don't know, I'm a finance major, so that's how I look at the world. So that's just how I see. But like I said before, just to kind of go back to square one, you got to vote accordingly. Election day is November 3rd, 2020. If you haven't registered to vote, you are sleeping.
Yeah.
You're not. Your eyes aren't open to what the hell's going on in our nation right now, and you need to go register to vote, and you need to let your voice be heard.
Ethan, you want to take over now since, Radical Souls, big face of this?
Well, going towards political, my family's a Democrat, so we have a whole different a view on politics. But it's my first year voting because 4 years ago I was still 17 because my late birthday. So this is my first year to vote, which is a major vote. Everybody got to vote. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. Everybody got to vote. But I feel like everybody should educate themselves, like Chris was saying, on what's going on. Like, look up what the topics are, like the financial, the abortion, everything. And you feel like what is right to vote on.
Yeah, and kind of piggybacking off of Ethan because it's kind of the same thing for me with my family. Let's put it this way, I'll be straight up with you guys. A lot of my family members don't vote. The only people that vote is like a select few, and my parents for the most part have been Democratic just because they see things a little bit differently. And me personally, I'm kind of in the middle. It's like, yo, I'm gonna look at everything because that's what it comes down to. I'm not gonna just vote for you because, oh yeah, I'm a Democrat. Here's my vote. Like if I don't agree with you, I'm gonna look at it and be like, nah, I don't agree with that. I agree with this.
Yeah.
And just look at it like that, like Chris was saying. And I think it's really important that everybody goes out and votes. And we gotta just not only vote for the president, but we gotta look up everything because everything matters. State, city, county, everything matters. Everything adds up, and everybody got to really push in this election because this election has been very pushed upon. Where this is going to be a very life-changing election, hopefully.
It is.
Yeah.
And like I said, if you haven't gone to register to vote, you should be doing that ASAP. It's not that hard. You should be out there November 3rd. Your vote should be heard. And again, it shouldn't just be presidential elections. Like Dan said, it should be any election. Your local election, in 2 years from now, your government election, like who your governor is. You have to, if you're an adult, you can't complain about things and not go vote. They don't correlate. So,
yeah. But guys, episode 10 in the books now. Glad we did this, and next week we'll be back on the sports hopefully and all the things, and let's keep pushing this because we fight for justice.
sir.
Exactly.
All right, guys.
Peace.
Peace.